Every human being has within him the potential of a new society. When I look at a tree, I don't merely see a tree but a sense of history behind that tree. It could have been a seed that flew with the wind and landed on the top of a container that was later shipped from Johannesburg to Chennai. Mother Earth never pampers, so the seed had to first penetrate outside in, into the soil to root itself and then penetrate inside out to shoot its presence. When it was a fragile plant, any animal could have grazed it, any kid could have uprooted it. Then the droughts, floods, and pests. It had to withstand it all, the test of time and the trial of circumstances to become the majestic tree it is now. It isn't just a tree, but a profound sense of history. If it is so with a tree, what about my fellow brethren? A possible 700 million sperms dart from the man towards that one stationary egg in the woman, and only the healthiest and the fastest sperms make it. Even the very beginning of beginnings in life supports only the survival of the fittest. So every human being is that winning sperm which proved in its own way that it was one up on the remaining 700 million of its kind. The very birth of a human being necessitates and presupposes the process of winning. Then the growth within the womb, then the trauma of separation from the womb, the confusions, the learning, the challenges, the paradoxes, the presses, the sacrifices, the compromises, the tears, and of course, the solutions, the growing up, the joy, the potential manifested, the unlearning. Each human being in his own right is a transformation from nothing to something and then into everything. A human being is not just a human being, but a profound sense of history in its own right. The maidservant is attempting to educate her children by giving them the education she was deprived of, is showing in her own way that she is a sense of history. Look beyond what you see and what you hear, and you will find that you are surrounded by a humanity, with each individual carrying his own private history. In fact, you are one among them. Every human being has within him the potential of a new society. From you begins your generation, and in turn, your society. You are a profound sense of history. In letting go of your hurt, you will be letting in peace. No single person, no single event, no single experience has the right to sit inside your head and continue to disturb the peace of your mind. Nothing, nobody should ever be given such exalted status as to have the power over the peace of your mind. For the sake of your peace, let go of anything, let go of anybody who continues to rattle you from within. Your mind and heart should be the seat of your peace and not the seat of someone or something that keeps disturbing you. Nothing at your cost of your peace, everything for the sake of your peace. Learn to let go, not in the physical sense but in an emotional sense. Free yourself of any disturbing elements. Let go whatever, let go whoever. Put your peace above everything. Your within can either be a basket of fragrant flowers or a vessel of acid. When you let go of the source of your hurt, you experience an inner flowering. Else, you keep destroying yourself in the same way that acid destroys the vessel that contains it. People hurt you out of their ignorance and their immaturity, and you allow yourself to be hurt out of your ignorance and your immaturity. The fact of the matter is that between the hater and the hated, it is always the hater who gets hurt more. While you hatred may do nothing to the other, it certainly gives you sleepless nights, causes ulcers and acidity in you, and above all, does not allow you to be at peace. So what do you get out of living with hurt? Nobody gains, and for sure you definitely lose. Why will you live with something as meaningless as hurt? In a physical sense, people or events that hurt you happen once, but you rewind and replay the hurt a zillion times. The more you process it, the deeper it hurts. You have given source of disturbance a higher presence within you than your own peace. If at all anybody is wrong, let them continue to live outside of you. Don't give them a presence within you. Let your mind and heart house only those who are a source of your peace. The rest, let them go. In letting go of your hurt, you will let in peace. A peaceful you is a beautiful you. The good news is you can be beautiful. The very good news is it is in your very hand. See, even the thought of let go is getting you to smile. You were not born to follow, you were born to lead. It seems a mouse was in a state of constant distress because of its fear of the cat. A sage took pity on it and turned it into a cat. Now it was afraid of the dog. So the sage turned it into a dog. Now it was afraid of man. So the sage turned it into a man. But the man was afraid of God. At this point, the sage gave up and turned the man back to a mouse, saying, "Nothing I do for you is going to be of any help because you have the heart of a mouse." By nature, a lot of people are compulsive followers. Looking up to others is a positive trait, but it becomes a weakness when it leads you into submission. Nobody will follow a follower. When you look up to someone and also believe that they will remain so better than you, all your life you have grossly underestimated yourself. You have turned a blind eye to your own possibilities. As an organization, as an individual, let anyone lead me in the first lap, the second lap, the 13th lap, but I have got to believe that in one of those n laps I will surge ahead and lead those who have been leading up to this point. All of us can become better than our boss. We can all become the personality of life for those who are presently the personality of our lives. As many possibilities that unfold for a man we look up to, so many possibilities and more will unfold for us too. What is possible for one man is possible for all men. What one man can do, all men can do. In fact, do better. Many people can be better than you in many aspects. This world is filled with one quality wonders. Aspire to become an all-rounded personality. Take the holistic lead. Look up without submitting yourself. You were not born to follow. You were born to lead. Remember, you were the leading sperm. Even as a sperm, you were not a follower. Live up to your inheritance. Live your character at any cost, at all cost. Anger in response to anger is more anger. Bad as a response to bad is only one more bad. Wrong as a response to wrong can never be right. In life, two negatives do not make one positive. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Where will all this lead us? We so keenly observe the enemy's traits, so much so that we eventually acquire those traits. How often in dealing with the enemy we become like the enemy? He was a personification of honesty. However, he found himself in situations where his honesty hurt others. So he began to resort to lying, not wanting to be a source of disturbance for others. The inability to deal with dishonesty was the weakness of others. Now, he has developed a weakness to counter the weakness of others. Will weakness as a response to weakness create a better world? She has always been a plain and simple soul. Of late, she has developed the doubt that her husband is doing things that he does not tell her. So, she has started policing him. She has been thinking of cunning ways to corner him. All traits that were never a part of her. Maybe her husband is wrong, but thinking she is dealing with his wrongdoing, she is unaware that she is doing things that are completely out of character. Whenever you point out someone's mistake, the immediate retort is, "What am I doing that the world is not doing?" Never let the weakness of the world become a justification for your weaknesses. We don't have to become a Duryodhan to deal with Duryodhan. In fact, it is by remaining an Arjuna that you win over the Duryodhanas. Why do you appreciate even those who are rude to you? A teammate asks. For the simple reason, to appreciate is my character, and to be rude is their character. I don't want other people's character to have a bearing on my character, replied the team leader. Let us be good even to those who are not good to us. There is no justification for our stooping in character. It is not about whether others deserve our goodness or not. It's that we don't deserve anything bad in our heart or in our character. Live your character at any cost, at all costs. The language of life is I can. I have often seen children blocking the path of an army of ants on the wall with their hands as a prank. The ants spontaneously find an alternate path and keep marching. The child now blocks even this path and the ants simply find another path and move on. The child, driven by mischief, uses his fingers to push a few ants off the wall. With resilience and spontaneity, the ants begin their climb once again. Whatever be the obstacles, however difficult the hurdles may be, the ants go on with the belief I can. Till they die, they try, they fight, they strive, and they march on believing I can. They lose this sense of I can only to death. I have seen bulls pull excessively overloaded carts on flyovers and over bridges. One step at a time, struggling through every inch of it, they make it. They may have been victims of man's exploitation, but all the same, they never give up. Even blades of grass and the almost invisible microorganisms keep growing against all odds with the belief I can. They lose this self-belief only to death. The language of life is I can. The language of death is I can't. Of all the creations, man alone, supposedly the supreme of all creations, speaks the language of death. Man alone utters, believes, and follows the language of death, which is I can't. Research shows it is so because every human being, before he attains the age of 14, has been told by his parents, teachers, society, and peer group about 1,48,000 times on an average, you can't. His environment has hammered into him about 1,48,000 times that he can't. I can, you can, we can. Man has to rise above man. Man has to renounce the language of death and embrace the language of life. I can drop, I can't. I have to drop, I can't. I will drop, I can't. So what if I have been told I can't 1,48,000 times? I have over 1,48,000 human beings in the history of humanity who have shown me that I can. I have every form of life to inspire me into believing I can. The voice of life is gradually growing louder and louder within me. This is death to the voice of death. Let us have total faith in ourselves. Having faith in ourselves will be our way of showing faith in the wisdom that created us. It takes what it takes to become what you want to become. Recently, I was witness to a corporate circus. A corporate house had recruited a group of freshers who had completed their MBA in marketing. They were asked to go to the field after 2 weeks of product orientation and intense training on selling skills. Within just 2 days of field selling, a few of them appeared highly dejected and demoralized. When asked about the cause of their disheartenment, some said, "We don't know why we are not yet able to make breakthroughs and succeed. 2 days into the field and already restless about not seeing success. What a joke! I call it a corporate circus because either the 2-week training by the corporate or the 2-year course on business management, or perhaps both, had erroneously brainwashed these fresh minds into believing in easy success, or put otherwise, success is easy. The very phrases easy success and success is easy sound blasphemous. The heart really aches to see many who want to win but do not possess the willingness to prepare to win. What use is the attitude to win without the attitude to prepare to win? Even the goose capable of giving you the golden eggs has to be groomed for a gosling into an adult goose, and that takes time and effort. Imagine the idiocy of expecting eggs from a gosling that has just hatched out of an egg. Even an uneducated person can tell you that no sportsman can exercise just a week before a game and attain the fitness level to play a match. Yet, in a country where cricket is almost a religion, the drama of conducting fitness camps just a week prior to major tournaments has been a tradition, or should I say a traditional joke for several decades. The result, you see more uncles than athletes on the cricket field. Do you expect a trim waistline after just a week at the gym? Do you get anxious about your son's result not improving within a month of having sent him a special coaching? Do you think of marriage Counselor, just 2 months into marriage, frustrated that your marriage is not turning out the way you wanted it to? Do you get agitated when, even after a week of trying an affectionate approach towards your rebellious teenager, she is still unrelenting? Well, anyone who plants a seed today and expects fruits tomorrow should relocate to another planet. It isn't possible on planet Earth. Here you don't win unless you consistently and continuously back up your attitude to win with the attitude to prepare to win. 11th hour preparations do not work beyond the 9th standard in school. In life, preparation to win is a prerequisite to win. Before you ask yourself or others, will you win? You would better ask, are you prepared to do what it takes to win? After a great piano performance in a women's club, an admirer approached an accomplished women musician and said, I would give anything to play like this. The musician replied, a lot of you promise to give anything to become what you want to, but you won't. You won't sit and practice hour after hour, day after day, year after year. It takes what it takes to become what you want to become. When you first cried, a new voice that had never been heard before was born into this world. With your first smile, a new curve was created, which became a new addition to geometry. When you were born, you were gifted to this world, and this world was gifted to you. Your birthday is your biggest day. If you live well, it will also become a big day for the world.